guys, happy Saturday to you all. I've got Monroe here and I'm going to just put her in a little simple onesie with a pair of socks and perhaps baby shoes. I'm going to keep it simple today and I'm just going to quickly chat with you about inspecting our babies. So the reason why I wanted to talk about it is one major reason is because I've noticed more and more dolls that have, like durable dolls, that have quite a bit of damage to them. And I'm wondering why this is happening, especially when I see it happening to like Claire Taylor silicone dolls, and it's not just one or two babies. I mean, I've seen a lot of babies with a lot of damage, and it's somewhat disturbing to me. And I know accidents happen, and I know handling them is always a potential to, have a rip or tear, or who knows. And so it just kind of begs the question of are collectors actually inspecting their dolls, every so often, or, what's the cause of seeing all of these boo-boo babies? And I know they didn't start out that way. And after having, many silicone babies come and go from my nursery and knowing kind of how I look after mine, I'm wondering if people do the same. And so I find it very, very important with it doesn't matter whether it's a Claire Taylor doll, it doesn't matter how much you spend on the doll. I find it important to inspect every single baby that I have in my collection, whether it's a reborn, whether it's a silicone. Right now I only have her and my one-of-a-kind by Amy Webb, which I always check on her, even though she doesn't get dressed or changed or anything and she's just sitting there. I still inspect her because you don't know what happens over time. Like with clay, it can dry out and crack without even ever handling it, that type of thing. So I have become I've become accustomed to checking over my dolls, and you'll see me in my videos when I'm changing Monroe that you'll see me kind of doing this and just kind of looking at her creases. It's just a habit that I've gotten into because I know that there are weaker spots, especially on a silicone doll, that can easily tear over time, and you don't even necessarily know that it could be happening. You may not be aware of when the tear happens, but as long as you keep track of and know the condition of your doll and check those areas on a regular basis, chances are they will not have a big problem, and it's an easy fix to make a minor repair than, months down the road after it tears and tears and tears, and then you've got a major boo-boo to fix. I think it's quite acceptable to fix your silicone baby if you're comfortable with it and know how to fix them. I think it's important for collectors to know how to make minor repairs, and as long as they disclose any repair if they go to sell the doll, then I think that's very acceptable, because a lot of artists do not have time to fix all the babies that they have out there, especially if they've been making babies for a long time. They couldn't possibly keep up. And the way I see dolls being sold with so many boo-boos and problems, it's a concerning thing for me, because I do buy from the secondary market, and it makes me a little nervous because I want to make sure that I'm buying a doll in very good condition and all of that. I'm really quite picky about it, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with buying a boo-boo baby, because I have bought a doll with known boo-boos that were repaired and I was absolutely fine with it. But some are super extreme, and they're in places that I can't quite understand how it's happened. And, the typical places really are, the elbow creases. That's one of the biggest places, because there's so much flexion there that it's very easy for a doll to perhaps tear in that crease, that inner crease. And same behind their knees. That's also a big place where a lot of tears can happen, which is why I'm always looking over Monroe, making sure. And also, in the upper leg creases, which I'm not going to undo her diaper because that would be a no-no on YouTube, but where the diaper hits up in that upper crease in their upper leg is also one of those stress points. And behind the ear is also a stress point. If you have a one-piece pour, the neck is going to become that stress point that you should be checking and looking over every once in a while. And fingers and toes. Probably what I've seen the most of lately are a lot of babies' fingers and toes in places that I wouldn't even imagine having like a problem. Like it's just, you know, where they're sculpted here. I mean, I get like in between, like if you know if something happens and you bend it back or something and it separates and stuff like that, but I'm not understanding why I'm seeing so many where they're sculpted at the joint line. It's kind of baffling to me, and it makes me go, oh gosh, I need to be more careful with my baby. You know, I'm always checking like in between her toes. Like I'm always looking over these spots that I worry that could become, you know, a place where a tear could happen. So I'm always very careful to inspect her, to make sure she's intact, to know her condition every time I handle her. And that might be excessive for some people, and that's okay. I'm just sharing with you kind of how I kind of keep track, and it makes me feel better knowing, what condition she's in at all times. Because for me, I want to keep her in the best condition I possibly can, knowing that, you know, tears can happen. I know that it's not uncommon to have even the best of dolls have a slight tear here and there. It's quite common, but it's also very fixable as long as you take care of it early on. And I think that's really important, why I feel it's important to know the condition of your baby all the time. So that's why you'll see me checking, and I'm curious, and I'm also putting the information out there so that others that may not realize they should be checking their dolls maybe will start. And I think if you ever plan to sell a doll, it's important that you know and are aware of the condition you receive a doll in, as well as the condition you're sending a doll out in. I find it very helpful to do an inspection video when I receive a doll, and I keep it on file and go over all of those, especially on a silicone doll, all of those stress points that could become issues so that I can refer to them later on. So for instance, when I got Monroe, I did a full inspection video of her. I'd never showed it, but I did an inspection video that I keep as a private video, so it never gets deleted or anything like that, and nobody sees it. But should I ever go to sell her, I'm going to do another inspection video for the new mommy, but then I'm also going to refer back to her original inspection video if I see that there's any questionable areas of like paint marks, because sometimes weird, strange paint marks can make it look like there's something wrong with the painting, and therefore that's why I document it, because I've had new mommies question how a doll's paint looks. And so I can refer back to the video and say, nope, that's how she arrived to me, and I think that's just the style of how Claire painted, or whatever artist painted the doll in that spot. Because on every doll, there's very unique ways that the artist paints them. And I noticed like right here, there's like a lapse of painting. There's nothing wrong with it there. But to me, that would be something that I noted when I first got her. And I also noticed that there's not been a change. There's nothing wrong with her. It's just how she was painted. I also noticed here where it's almost like a different color, but that's how she was sculpted, and that's how she was painted around those, you know, cutouts or those, you know, indents on her. So there's like little spots like that that I always take note of, just because I find it very helpful to refer back to later on, because when we get into buying and selling of dolls, you know, there's a lot of money involved. You want to be sure you know the condition of the doll so it can't be questioned later, because I've had that happen where I've, you know, sold a doll, and when the doll arrived, the new mommy questioned something about it, and I had already sent an inspection video so they can give the okay, because that's how I do my doll sales, is I always send an inspection video, so before the potential new mommy has decided, they can see everything about the doll that's possibly going on with the doll, and if they have more questions, I can send more pictures. I'm very thorough, because I don't want to ever have like nobody wants to have a bad doll sale. It can really be an awful experience if you've ever had one. So I try very hard to do everything in my power not to ever have a problem. And I'm very upfront and very, very honest about the condition of any doll I've ever had. I find it doesn't do anybody any good to try to hide a flaw, because someone's going to notice. I mean, and I've had someone try to pull that with me, so I would never do that to anybody else. I just try to be as honest as possible, but I'm also, on the flip side, want to make sure that nobody takes advantage of me either. So that's why I document everything. And with as much as we buy and sell these babies at times, I think it's important to, document. Make sure you know. That way, hopefully you never have to experience a bad doll transaction, because it's the worst, you guys. It's the worst. Let me tell you. It was the most stressful thing I've ever been through. It's only happened once, and I hope it never happens again. And here we go. I stress over this stupid side snap onesie. Oh, it's so stressful. It's like a puzzle. I'm not even kidding. It's so hard to do. It's this, and some of Jacquet's, this is a Jacquet onesie, and I don't know how someone would get a real baby in this. I watched Erica Jones' video a couple of days ago, and she was putting the same onesie on Layla, and she struggled as well. And I think we both agree that we would never want to try to put this on a living baby. I just don't even know how you'd ever get them in it without them, having a fit. I don't know. It's crazy. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I would never want to put a real baby in one of these. That would be such a struggle. But yeah, so very important. I think that, people don't like to talk about, like, oh, it's kind of taboo to talk about someone's doll condition. Well, I don't find it taboo. I find it very proactive to know everything you can about your doll. It's important to know. I think that's too much investment to not know. That's how I feel about it anyways. I don't know. That's one collector's opinion, guys. I'm just putting it out there that I would highly recommend putting the time in, and when you're changing your baby, look them over. Look them over. Make sure there's nothing going on that needs to be repaired. If they need a repair, make the repair. If you're not comfortable with making the repair, have a friend help, or even reach out to the artist if necessary. Most artists don't have time, or it may take a while before they can get to the baby. So I have learned early on how to make minor repairs to my dolls if necessary. And I have been known to help my friends as well. When they need to have a little repair done, I'm happy to help them, because I think it's important to stay on top of those things. And it doesn't, like I said, I've bought lots of dolls that have had minor repairs done to them. It's when they become a major repair, and it's, if you have a small minor tear, it's very easy to fix most of the time. But when it gets to be a very big repair, then obviously it looks like a repair. Like when it's done at the early stages, you almost can't tell there was ever a repair done, which is how you want it to be. You want them to look as, original as possible. And I don't know, I guess I try to be very proactive in that. I always make sure if there's a repair that needs to be done, I do it. And I'm not afraid to do it, I guess I could say, because I've had dolls that have had so many boo-boos. I got good at it early on, years ago. And Silpoxy is the one thing that I always tell silicone mommies they should have on hand. And even if you never use it, I mean, I've had the same tube for, gosh, years and years and years. Back when I used to have back when I had Allie Saxton, because I had to make so many repairs on that doll. That's how I became an expert at making silicone repairs, is on Allie Saxton, who literally would fall apart in front of my very eyes. So I'm very comfortable with it. Hopefully I'll never have to deal with that again. But at least I know how to make those repairs if necessary, and make them so that they don't look like they've been repaired or very minorly type of thing. But there's little Monroe. Say hello, aunties. I'm just hanging out in my pink onesie from Jacquet with the pretty white collar. We're just keeping it basic, you guys. Little white knee-high socks. It's actually really nice here. The sun is out. It's about between 45 and 50 degrees here. So I am enjoying the fact that it's like spring today. It's such a rare thing in our area, so I'm going to enjoy every second of it. And so is Monroe. So I just put a pair of pink, dusty rose pink Crya & Company baby shoes on her. I actually have a pair of Uggs, pink Uggs that are supposed to be shipped today. They should be arriving today. We'll see if they come. And I'm excited to see that on her. I told you guys I had a whole bunch of purchases that I've made for her, some spring and summer wardrobe stuff coming. So, yeah, once I start getting all of that stuff together, I'll do like a clothing haul video so you guys can see exactly what she's going to be wearing this summer. I found some really, really, really cute stuff, you guys. I'm really excited about it. But I'd rather put like a haul together and show you guys everything once it's all here. Or mostly here, because I keep ordering stuff, so it's kind of impossible to get everything all at once, I suppose, because I keep buying things, because I'm excited for warm weather, I guess you could say, and I think that's why I have continually purchased her different things. In the last week, it's kind of hard not to, because I'm a person that really enjoys summer weather. So I'm kind of like to plan ahead for the warm weather that's going to happen. But anyways, there you go, guys. There she is. She's so cute. I can't help but play with her hair every time she's on video. I can't help it. But there she is. She's keeping it basic today. I hope you guys found that informative. Hopefully nobody's offended by it. It's just a suggestion. You don't have to take my advice, but my advice really is to try to inspect your babies regularly. I think you'd be definitely, it's a good thing. Definitely. But there she is. I hope you guys enjoy your Saturday. And Monroe and I will see you all soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.